Before we go back to Queen, we got to hit the B-side for Roger Taylor's single. It's Turn on the TV next on PLD Project's Crown Jewels. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PLD Project's Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD, and of course, this is the podcast where I take you through every song in the Queen catalog, every song through the solo catalogs. We talk about history of the song, give you notes and quotes. Of course, we've got to figure out which is the best version of the song that's out there. And does it slip into my top 10 Queen-related songs of all time? A lot to do in a short amount of time. This week, though, shouldn't take as long. One version. Only got one version to talk about. So it pretty much stands to reason that the default is going to be the best version of the song is the only version of the song. But let's get to it. This week's song is Turn on the TV, written by Roger Taylor. It is the B-side to his single, I Want to Testify. And this one, honestly, for me, is actually more important than I Want to Testify. I Want to Testify, great rock track, great fun rock dance number. But this is the first solo song Roger released that really is all him. He wrote this one by himself. There's no cover, no lifting of stuff, no trying to listen to things and take a chorus here and a thing here, try to remake it a little bit. No, this is just written by Roger Taylor, and Roger Taylor performs all of the instruments and does all of the vocals. So it's a truly solo Roger Taylor track. Now, usually when we have multiple versions to listen to, I'd say look in that description below, follow along, hit pause, and go through everything. But we just got the one. It is still in the description, though. So what we're going to do is when I tell you to, I'm going to have you pause the podcast, look in that description, find the link that's available for Turn on the TV, the single version. You're going to click on that. We're going to listen to it, come back, and we'll talk about it. I'll give you some notes on it and go from there. Now, one more thing I want to talk about really quick before we do that. During this session, it does also rumored that Roger started a couple other tracks as before Queen really got into gear for the News of the World sessions, which is the next album we're going to, News of the World, the 1977 Queen album. Roger Taylor demoed Sheer Heart Attack and Fight from the Inside, reportedly, during some of these sessions as well. These are the tracks that ended up on News of the World, so it makes sense he would kind of start them first, get some ideas before he brought them to Queen. It's unclear whether he ever brought Turn on the TV to the band. It's not quite clear. I mean, I got to say, they probably didn't bring I Want to Testify because Queen doing a cover song on the album was not going to be something that passed muster. Queen ever wouldn't really do something like that. In fact, they didn't want any outside writers if they could help it. I mean, there's a few exceptions here and there. The first album, Tim Staffel, was a song co-wrote with Brian before Queen, so he got a writing credit. Of course, David Bowie later on, Under Pressure. And then later on, they had a few tracks that would have one or two tracks that have like an extra writer for various reasons. Mike Moran got a co-credit on a song that started during a Freddie Mercury solo session, ended up on the album. But at this point, they were really pretty adamant about having only those solo tracks or the band written tracks, as it were, by the four of them, either Freddie, Brian, Roger, or John. So definitely not Want to Testify, but I wouldn't be surprised if Roger at least floated this around to the other band members, maybe even floated the idea this Sheer Heart Attack Fight from the Inside. Maybe they decided, we don't want to turn on TV. We'll think about the other two. So Roger said, that's perfect. I'll use that for my B side. I don't know. That's speculation. I really don't know, but it would make sense if the band heard about it at least. Or maybe there is a chance. I mean, like I said, I don't know for sure. There's a chance that Roger elected and said, you know what? I like this, or I don't want to present to Queen. I'll just throw it on the B side. Who knows? But either way, let's listen to that track now. And forgetting all this other stuff, let's listen to it and come back and we'll talk about it. The link, like I said, is below in the description. Come back for more. There you have it, folks. Turn on the TV. Right away, I'll tell you, it is exactly what it sets out to be. A good, solid B-side. It's not going to light up the charts. It was never going to be a big hit. It's not a spectacular song. Would it fit in on an album? Sure, it would have been okay on a Queen album later, like one of those tracks, one of those kind of filler tracks towards the end. It would never have gotten a lot of love, I don't think, but it's not bad. And as his first solo single B-side, pretty good. I mean, it's Roger definitely doing Roger things. If you listen, I do love how it starts off. Very Roger harkens back to "In the Lap of the God," the big, big falsetto yell, followed by a cough, which is down and earthy. I like that. It's a very Zeppelin-esque riff, and I kind of feel like Roger in the '70s gravitated towards that very earthy, something that Queen wouldn't necessarily do. It's not really a Brian May type riff. When Brian May's your lead guitarist, he doesn't do that kind of crunchy, earthy stuff. He's more orchestrated, much more produced sound, much more polished sounding. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, just a different thing. But Roger gravitated more towards that crunchy, earthy sound. And his solo sections, I say solo kind of in quotes. It's not really, it's like a flashy solo. It's not a Brian May orchestrated solo. It's more of a wandering guitar, really, part that had the riff going on. Roger has like almost like one note ish kind of thing going on in the background that trails around. But solid. Roger's vocals are strong. The backing vocals are good to kind of have that, not the quite the full Queen choir feel, but it doesn't really fit this song. The background vocals are more muted. They're not like a whole lot of harmony thrown in there, but they're very solidly supporting the song. Gets a little gruffer and richer as it goes on. Gotta get on my way. And it's like really kind of grooving with it, as Roger tends to do. He got that drummer feel. When he sings a song, he kind of sings like a drummer, if that makes sense. He's kind of got that rhythmic punching of it, which makes it work. I do love the different sections of the song. We start off with that earthy feel, the earthy riffy, grungy feel. We do hit, like I said, the "gotta get" part, and then it goes into this nice little acoustic section, which is also kind of Zeppelin-esque in a way. I kind of feel like it's a little Robert Plant kind of thing going on there. Over the hill, the grass is greener. All these like little wandering vocal tracks a little bit, and then it kind of goes back to that riff again. It's not a typical song, not like verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge. It's all kind of like one verse, different kind of verse, different kind of section, and repeat the whole thing over again before you fade out. The solo fades out on another one of those kind of quote unquote solo-ish guitar moments, which is kind of him noodling around on the guitar a little bit. Roger is not a bad guitarist at all. I don't think he's a bad guitarist. Obviously, he's a drummer playing guitar. He can play the guitar. He's not going to be a lead guitarist at this point, but he doesn't do bad for himself. It fits the song. It fits the song very well, and I think he does well with it overall. There you have it, folks. Like I said, that's the crown jewel of the week as well. The best version is the single version. So we got to skip ahead to our next section. We're going to rate this bad boy on a scale of 1 to 11 because I always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. I'll give this a solid 6.5. I almost go 7, but to be fair, it's again, there's great moments to it. The feel is there, but at the end of the day, it's pretty forgettable overall, in the grand scheme of things. And that's being a little harsh because, quite frankly, as you're going to come to find out, Roger Taylor has the most varied solo career, the biggest solo career. I don't necessarily mean chart success. He just has the most solo projects. He has a bunch of his own solo albums. He has side albums with The Cross. I mean, Freddie Mercury really only did his one solo album. Mr. Bad Guy did the duet opera album with Monserrat Caballé, a couple singles here and there, but he wasn't a very prolific solo artist. Brian did 2 albums by himself, a couple of solo songs here and there, some work with Carrie Ellis. But for the most part, it was really Roger who was the most prolific of the solo artists. So we're going to see how that goes. But for this part, for me, in this lexicon, it's good. It's a solid 6.5. It's exactly what like I said before, the solid B-side. It could have made the album. If Roger had a solo album, I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the album. Maybe it wouldn't be relegated to a B-side even on the album. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, solid rocker. I don't skip it when it comes on. Don't really actively search for it too much. But so that obviously means I do not put it into my top 10. So there's no action there. All right, that's it, folks. That's going to be it. This is a quick episode this week. I'll make up for it next week, I promise you, because next week we're going to begin News of the World. And the first track on News of the World, We Will Rock You. And yes, We'll Rock You is actually probably the biggest song I'm going to do. Although I did do something for both our sakes. I've cut it down in half because there's the We'll Rock You, the version you all know. There's also a fast full band version. I could have put them all together and done everything. I'm going to save the fast full band version to a be a bonus track, to be its own kind of thing after I get through the rest of the regular News of the World album. So we're just going to be doing the slow studio stomp and clap version of Feel Rocky, but there's still a lot of live versions. It's a lot of remixes. We're gonna have to go through a bunch, so that's going to be a very big debate. That's next week, though. So I hope you to come back for more. I hope you enjoyed yourself. It's your first time here. Hit that like it, subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a review. And if you want to support the channel even further, you can support by subscribing here at PLD Project Crown Jewels. You can also support by doing the main channel that I have, PLD Projects, which has a lot of movie content, TV content, things of that nature as well. If you want to support me even further, patreon.com/PLD Projects, great crew of people such as Austin Caddell, Jeremiah Morris, Matthew Kearns, Brandon Buckingham, Jeff Altman, a bunch of other people as well. I couldn't do this without you. We had some great hangout last night. We do some more of that every month. Try to do some extra content. That's where the Harris Stance is, where I'm going through all Ed Harris's parts on IMDb. Going to go through review those part by part. Got a lot of fun things coming on. I'm always looking to do more. I gotta think that PJ Campbell, who I do Two Meter White Dudes on film with, we're going to do a Doctor Who thing at some point because of the 60th anniversary. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if not, I get it. I fully understand if you can't join the Patreon. I totally understand. Do me a favor, get some people involved, like it, share it. Let me know. Let people know I'm out here. Hopefully, they'll enjoy it as well. But that'll do it for us tonight and this week. Stay tuned for next week. And until then, keep on rocking, everybody. God save the Queen.